Good day, seekers of ancient wisdom. Today we journey not to the bustling heights of Mount Olympus, nor to the sun-drenched shores of ancient Greece. No, we're going far, far beyond, to a time before time, to a place that wasn't a place, and to an existence that was, paradoxically, non-existence. We are stepping into the primordial void, the absolute zero of reality, to witness the very first stirrings of Greek mythology. Imagine an absolute nothingness. Not the darkness of a moonless night, for even that implies stars and space. Not the silence of a tomb, for even that suggests walls and air. Imagine an abyss so profound, so utterly empty that it defies all comprehension. No light, no sound, no shape, no form, no up, no down, no beginning, no end. This, my friends, was chaos. Chaos was not a god, not a being in the way we understand it. It was the vast, unfathomable chasm, the primordial gap, from which everything eventually would emerge. It was the potentiality of all things, waiting, dormant, yet pregnant with creation. Think of it as the ultimate cosmic womb, dark and infinite. From this boundless, enigmatic chaos, the very first entities began to stir. These were not born, not created in the conventional sense. They simply were. They were the fundamental forces of the nascent universe, spontaneously manifesting from the void itself. The very first to emerge, often considered the most solid and foundational, was Gaia. She was the earth itself, not just dirt and rock, but the very essence of stability, the grounding force, the fertile womb of all subsequent life. Imagine her as the vast, silent potential for landscapes, mountains, and valleys. She was the bedrock of existence. Then came Tartarus, while often thought of as a place of punishment. In this primordial sense, Tartarus was the deep abyss beneath Gaia. He was the dark, bottomless chasm, the crushing weight and impenetrable darkness that formed the very foundations of the underworld, even before an underworld truly existed. He was the ultimate prison, the place of eternal confinement. And alongside these fundamental elements emerged Eros, not the playful winged cherub of later myths, but a primordial, irresistible force. Eros was the primal urge for creation, the driving force of attraction and union. Without Eros, nothing would have moved, nothing would have connected, and the universe would have remained stagnant. He was the vital spark, the irresistible impulse that brought things together, allowing for growth and procreation. From chaos also emerged the first concepts of night and darkness. Erebus, the personification of deep darkness, and Nyx, the beautiful ancient goddess of night. They were the shadowy veils that covered the nascent cosmos, bringing mystery and obscurity. They were the very essence of shadow and the unknown. And from the silent, intimate embrace of Erebus and Nyx, the first glimpses of light were born. Not the blazing sun, but the fundamental light of the upper air. Ether, the brilliant, shining atmosphere that formed the celestial light of the heavens. And with ether came Hemera, the day. Thus, the primal cycle of light and darkness, of day following night, was established, bringing a nascent rhythm to the formless void. With these primordial forces established, the stage was set for the next grand act of creation. Gaia, the earth, found herself vast and alone in the newly forming cosmos. From her own being, without aid, she brought forth magnificent creations. She bore Uranus, the starry sky itself, a vast, encompassing dome stretching infinitely above her. He was the celestial vault, glittering with unformed stars. Imagine him as the infinite expanse of the heavens, a cosmic canopy. She also birthed Aria, the towering mountains, rising majestically from her surface, providing the first solid landmarks. And Pontus, the primordial barren sea, vast and deep, full of an unyielding power. These were the fundamental features of the physical world, given form by the boundless earth. Now, with Uranus, the sky, enveloping Gaia, the earth, a true union began. Uranus was captivated by Gaia's immense beauty and fertility. He covered her entirely, showering her with rain, fertilizing her. And from this first great cosmic coupling, the next generation of incredibly powerful beings were born, the Titans. These were not the playful gods of later tales, but immense, often terrifying forces of nature personified. were 12 original Titans, 6 males, Oceanus, Cus, Crius, Hyperion, Iapetus, and Cronus, and 6 females, they, Rhea, Themis, Mnemosyne, Phoebe, and Tethys. Oceanus was the great encircling river of the world. Hyperion was the sun itself, bringing light to the world. Rhea represented fertility and the flow of life, while Themis embodied divine law and justice. These Titans were the first rulers of the cosmos, the immediate children of earth and sky, embodying the raw, untamed power of the early universe. But the story of creation, even in its earliest stages, is rarely one of unblemished harmony. Uranus, the sky, grew to fear the immense power of his own children. He was tyrannical and cruel. Each time Gaia gave birth, especially to her more monstrous offspring like the 3 Cyclopes, one-eyed giants of immense strength, and the 3 Hecatonchires, beings with 100 hands and 50 heads. Uranus, disgusted and fearful, would shove them back into Gaia's womb. He imprisoned them deep within the earth, trapping them in the suffocating darkness of Tartarus, much to Gaia's immense pain and fury. Gaia groaned under the unbearable burden of her imprisoned children. Her heart ached with their silent anguish, and her rage against Uranus simmered. She longed for their liberation, for her offspring to finally see the light of day. In her desperation, Gaia fashioned a formidable weapon, a sickle of the hardest, sharpest gray flint. She appealed to her Titan children for aid, but fear paralyzed most of them. Only the youngest, most ambitious, and most ruthless of the Titans dared to defy their oppressive father, Cronus. He was destined to be the instrument of his mother's vengeance, and ironically, to repeat his father's mistakes. And so, as Uranus once again descended to cover Gaia, Cronus, hidden by his mother, ambushed his father with the flint sickle. In a single, brutal, and world-altering act, Cronus castrated Uranus. From the spilled blood of Uranus, falling upon the vast body of Gaia, new, vengeful beings were born. The powerful Erinyes, or Furies, goddesses of vengeance, eternally pursuing those who spill familial blood. The monstrous Gigantes, immense and warlike giants, and the Malaya, the nymphs of the ash trees. But perhaps the most profound birth from this act occurred as Uranus's severed organs fell into the primordial sea. From the pristine white foam that gathered around them, a beautiful goddess emerged, fully grown and radiant. Stepping onto the shores of Cyprus or Cythera, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation. With Uranus overthrown and banished from his dominant position, Cronus ascended to become the new ruler of the cosmos. He freed his Titan siblings from Tartarus, and for a time, a golden age dawned. But the cycle of power, prophecy, and fear had been set in motion. The universe, once chaos, now had structure, rulers, and a tumultuous history beginning to unfold. This, then, is the true Genesis, the foundational narrative of Greek mythology. From the boundless void of chaos to the emergence of the primordial gods, the union of earth and sky, and the rise of the Titans. The stage was set for all the epic sagas, heroic deeds, and divine dramas that would follow. The universe had found its form, however turbulent, and the stories had just begun. Thank you for joining us on this journey to the very beginning. Next time, we will explore the tumultuous reign of the Titans and the dawn of the Olympian gods. Until then, reflect on the magnificent and terrifying power of chaos.